Yo, welcome back. It's been a minute since I talked to y'all last. I took a little break over the summer, a much needed break, spent some time with my kids, grandkids, all that kind of good stuff. But we are back now. And I got a very special guest. He's back, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brad Williams. He is in the building. What's up, Brad? How you doing, man?
Great, Sharif. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Life is good, man. So today I invited you here because I wanted to, well, first of all, I sent Brad like a few different ideas, and I can always tell when he's really not excited about them. But this one, though, he really seemed like he was excited about it. And today what we're talking about is what did I learn from my father? So when I sent you this, Brad, just out of curiosity, what were the first things that were going through your mind? What did you think?
Man, I was actually thinking about a lot of stuff. I was thinking about my relationship with my dad and like growing up and like cuz you don't spend a lot of time to like sit back and like think about that stuff a lot, right? And so I was like trying to go back to my childhood and then also thinking about like how do I take those lessons and use them in my own life for my kids, right? Because there's some, like we all have things we love about our dad, or most of us have things we love about our dad, and we have things that we maybe want to change, right? And that's how it impacts how we show up as for our kids. So
Yeah.
I was just spending some time reflecting on that. What about you? So when you came up with this topic, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that I wanted it to be something that was universal. I wanted it to be something that was positive about fathers. I wanted it to be something that, everybody could kind of connect to because we all got here some way, right? Like whether your
Yeah.
father was in your life or whether he wasn't in your life or whatever the situation may be, like we all got here some way. So I wanted it to be something for men specifically that we can just talk about. Like, man, what did you learn from your dad? What do you need to relearn, or what didn't you like about growing up? And just having a candid conversation. I haven't heard conversations like this. So, that's my purpose of doing this podcast is just, open it up to men, to fathers, and just having just candid conversations. That was my thought process when I was going through it, when I was picking out random topics for Brad.
Love it.
So with that being said, man, what did you come up with when you were thinking about like, man, what are some of the things I learned from my pop?
Man. So my dad, I mean, he was old school. So he kind of ruled with a heavy fist. Like I'd say right now, like he's an awesome grandfather. Like my kids don't know my dad. They don't know the same dad that I had growing up. But I will say, like, I learned so much from him. Like, he was a great dad, really. Like, he was always there for me. He was super hardworking. He worked in a factory his whole life. Like, I learned from him, like, hard work and dedication. Like, he sacrificed a lot for our family. Like, there was times in my life where he'd work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I think things like that also taught me, like, because I missed a lot of moments with them. Although he did things with me, like he would bring me golfing, he would bring me out fishing and hunting, and do things with me like one-on-one time, which I loved. But I also reflect on times where he wasn't there for like, cause I was in sports a lot, and like he had to miss a lot of those sporting events and a lot of things that were important to me back then, and so he missed a lot of that. So I think I take from that not only the positives of like working hard for your family to get the things that you need, right? But like I don't want to prioritize work as my number one. Like I want to prioritize time with my family. So I think those are the kind of the takeaways that I had, like the general takeaways. But overall, like he's a great dad. He's still a great dad. Like we're on a golf league together. Like we spend a lot of time one-on-one together. Like he's a really great grandpa. Like he's there for my kids all the time. Like they actually just moved down the street from us, and my kids can ride their bike down there. So like he's an amazing, my parents are both, just great grandparents, and that I love about them. Tell me about your story a little bit.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think that's awesome, man, and I promise. I don't like to talk about myself, but I promise. I'll tell you about mine. But do you feel like he's kind of like making up for lost time? Like you said, you guys are in the golf league together. You guys are doing certain things together one-on-one time. Do you feel like that?
I feel like there was a specific change that happened when I became a man, an adult, like not just a man, like physically, but like when I moved out on my own, like there was a change that happened in our relationship, which I think is important for all dads, right? Like,
Yeah.
because you still need your dad. Like, you still need your dad. You still need your parents when you're like growing out of the house. But that relationship, I feel like, has to change. It's not like telling them what to do. You're like trying to you're trying to help them in life, right? And so my dad, I feel like, was always there for me. Like after I moved out, like he'd always come help me with projects around the house. He'd just be there for me. He wasn't like the authoritative dictator that I grew up with, right? So
Yeah. So after that, after you moved out, it was like, okay, I'm an adult now, and he basically was treating you like an adult. And do you feel like that's where the shift happened?
I feel like
Between the two of you?
I feel like there was a shift happened. We became more friends. than
Okay.
anything. That's what I would call it. We have a friendship now more than he gives me guidance and stuff like that. But my dad and I weren't really like big talkers. I never had like conversations with my dad. I don't, maybe that was just that generation, but I don't remember like they weren't soft like discussions and like we spent time together, but we never really had these like deep conversations about anything. But I think I would say I'm a lot softer. My parent, like as a dad, I'm a lot softer than my dad was, and that's probably just because maybe I wish that we would have had a little more of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So I can relate to that, and like I'm gonna answer the question now. Like, so my dad also was a hard worker, and one of the things that he taught us all was he was a provider. He
Yep.
wasn't gonna be the dad that was playing games with you and hanging out with you and stuff like that. Like he went to work, he worked super super hard, and my mom, she took care of the house. So I can relate to like me and my father. I can count how many times we had like super deep conversations because we're really close. And before I actually go into that, I have to say this. I was adopted. So you guys may get a little confused. So I don't want you to get confused. So I was adopted not until I was 11 years old. And so my biological father, he was murdered when I was like 2. And then my mother, my biological mom, she gave me up for adoption when I was 11. So just for clarification purposes, now you guys kind of understand the timeline. So my father and I, man, we bonded because he actually saw his mom get killed. And like I noticed a lot of things. We had a lot of similarities of our growing up. So we bonded through that. But there weren't like a lot of conversations about that. But those conversations that we did have, I like still cherish them to this day. Like I still remember them. But yeah, again, like what I learned the most from him though is just that he was a hard worker, man. He was a provider. And that was his way of showing that I love my family. My dad, like your dad, he wasn't like really big on affection. I am super big on affection, like loving my kids, hugging my kids, telling them I love them like all the time. And I don't know where I got that from because neither of my parents, my mom or my dad, neither of them were really like that. So I don't know where that comes from, but I'm definitely that dad that is like, come here, give me a kiss. I love you. I'm proud of you. Like I'm always saying stuff like that.
That's funny. That's funny you say that because my dad, I can remember, I don't think my dad actually hugged me or like said I love you until I was a grown man. Like I don't remember
Wow.
those words. And I knew that he loved me. I knew that he loved me. I just think that like that was just how he was raised, right? He didn't learn that from his dad. And I remember specifically like when I have kids, they're going to know. Like I knew, but they're going to know cuz I'm going to tell them. I hug my kids all the time. Like I'm very affectionate as well, and I mean, my mom was, but my dad was not growing up. He is now. Like,
Oh, he is now even to you?
oh
Now he
yeah,
is?
yeah, yeah. Every time I see him now, it's like I love you. We give a hug. Like it's.
Aw.
So I don't know what happened there, but like, yeah, I don't remember hearing that. Maybe he did, but I don't remember hearing that growing up at all until I was an adult. And then all of a sudden, it was like a switch happened.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Because I too, like, I've like tried to tell my parents like I love them, but I don't remember as a kid my parents ever really being like just initiating, "I
Yeah.
love you." Or again, they would show through their actions. My mom, she was awesome. Like you could just tell she loved you. She just has so much
Yeah.
love. But the words, like, "I love you so much, son." Like, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
So it's weird that we both have those similarities and that we both are super affectionate towards our kids when we didn't have that growing up. So I think that's kind of dope. So tell me this, like what as a kid didn't you understand that your dad was doing? Like any kind of lessons that he was teaching you that you didn't understand as a kid, but you understand now as an adult.
I think probably like the discipline I didn't understand as much, but I know that he was just trying to like make me turn out to be a good like human being a lot of times. But I don't think I understood it at the time. But is that kind of the what you're thinking? Is that kind of the
Yeah.
direction? But like
Yeah. I mean, well, I'll say this: like my father is a talker, meaning like he will give me speeches and he talks in riddles. Like, is this your little red wagon? You can either push it or pull it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Like he would
oh yeah,
like talk to me like that. So at the time, I'm like, why is he always speaking to me in these little paraphrases, these little riddles? But now as an adult, like I find myself doing that with my kids. Like, ain't no fun when the
man,
rabbit got the gun.
your kids are like, I don't want to hear that.
So at the time, I didn't understand like these little lessons that he was teaching me. But as I got older, I was like, oh, okay, this is what he actually meant, or this is what he was talking about. He taught me like hard work. Like I remember there was this one time, man, that he bought me a bicycle. Now, mind you, when I tell you that we really live far, I'm from Fairbanks, Alaska, and we live far out of town. I'm talking like 10 miles out of town to like get out of town. But he bought me this bike, and I purposely flattened the tires because I'm like, I'm not riding this bike into town. Do you know that man made me walk to work?
Of course.
Like every day. And I was like, until I got the bike fixed, and then I would flatten them tires again. He would take me down there. He would get it. But I learned that lesson though, like, no, like if you dedicate yourself to something, you got to make sure that you follow through. And those are the things that I teach my kids now. Like, hey, you know what? If you are saying you're going to do something, you need to do it. You know, if that's work, that's school, whatever it is, you got to dedicate yourself to doing it. So at the time, I didn't get it. I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not riding this bike to work. So that's what I meant by that question, Brad.
Yeah, my dad was big on that too. Like if I ever started anything, he made me finish it. If I committed to something, it had to be done. Like you weren't going to quit on it. So I had a lot of those lessons as well. But my dad always also pulled me into like projects. Like he was a big, like, I feel like because of him, I'm like, I know a little bit about everything. Like he always pulled me into like work on cars or like house projects and stuff like that. So like he was always like teach me something about like how to use different tools and like. So I feel like I got a lot from him in that respect. Like he was just really great about like bringing me in to work on things around the house, stuff like that.
Okay. Tell me this. Did your dad ever have that what it is to be a man talk with you, like directly or indirectly? Nah.
No. I mean, my dad, like, well, not only that, we didn't ever have the talk. Like we didn't have the sex talk. We never had anything. Like I had nothing. We just had to figure stuff out on our own, man.
You was just winging it?
We were just winging it. Like we didn't have any of that conversation. So like I said, we didn't have a lot of like introspective talks. I mean, he showed me what it was like to be a man. Like he showed me those things, but we didn't have conversations like that. No.
Yeah. And I will say the same thing. Like my dad, he never had that, like, this is what it's like to be a man, or these are the things that men do. And he never had like the sex talk with me either. I was just out there just wilding out. Like,
yeah.
I guess
I'm just going to figure it out.
I'm just figuring it out.
We'll just talk to our buddies, right?
And they didn't know what they was doing
either.
Know either.
No, hell no, they didn't.
So all of us just out there just winging it, trying to figure it out. So that's the difference between like me now as a father and my father, is that my dad, he didn't have talks with me like that. But I do have talks with my son about like what it is to be a man. And this was another podcast topic that we were going to talk about, is like, what do we teach our kids, our boys, about sex? And I think it's a really important topic because like you just said, Brad, and like I just said, my dad didn't teach me that. Yeah. He wasn't telling me about condoms and stuff like that. He was just like, okay.
Oh, you got to tell your story now about your, I saw your blog about a month ago about how you introduced your son to that conversation. You got to talk about that now.
So I knew that my son was about ready to have sex. Like I just kind of could feel it. Like he had a girlfriend. And I knew that it was heading that direction because he just kept talking about it all the time. So one day I just busted in his room. Boom. Hey, man, I want you to put this condom on this Coke bottle. And he's like, what? I'm like, I want you to put this condom on this Coke bottle.
He's like, no.
He's like, okay. So he's like unraveling it. He puts it on there and everything. And then I'm like, well, here's another one. I want you to put this one on top of that Coke bottle. And he's like, Pops, come on, man. I'm like, no, I'm for real. And so he puts it on top of, he's like, well, what was that for? I was like, I don't ever want you to tell me that a condom will not fit on you because you can put it on top of 2 Coke bottles. I don't want to hear nothing. Don't you come back to me talking to me about that. Now, there was obviously other lessons that we learned, but it was I think the title of the blog was the Sprite and the condom or something like that. But yeah, man, he was so embarrassed. He was just like, I can't believe that we're talking about this right now. But it was one of the things that we laugh about now, but he was so embarrassed, Brad. He was just like, this dude is wild.
I never went that far, but I started having conversations with my son's 17 now. And he was probably 14 when I first started like having conversations with him just to like keep that ball rolling. And he never said much, but at least we opened that door to the conversation, right? Like,
yeah, that was more than our dads did.
Exactly.
At least we started to talk about it. And you know, I mean, for kids, I mean, I don't think kids really want to talk about that stuff in general. And then, you know, you got your dad. Well, for me, you got your dad talking about put this condom on a Coke bottle. Yeah. But you know, I mean, he never got no diseases and he never got nobody pregnant. So
he's never gonna grow up and say you didn't talk to him about it either. So
he will never say that. All right, man. So tell me this: were there lessons from your father that you wish that you can unlearn as an adult?
Why don't you go first on this one, Sharif?
Yeah, man, those speeches. My dad would just give me speeches and like, go ahead. If you came to mind, go ahead.
Yeah. So that actually is a good point because there's one thing that I do with my oldest right now that's driving me crazy. Like My dad used to, when we would do a project together, I would try to do it or have an idea, and he would just take over the whole project. Like if it wasn't going as fast as he wanted or whatever, he would just go. Like, and that's something that he did to me, and it drove me crazy as a teenage kid. And I find myself now doing that to my son, not purposefully. It's just like I rush him through, or I try to take over because I think I know better because I have more experience on it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something I'm really working on to try to like reel back on, right? Because I remember how that made me feel, and I don't want to do that to my kids.
Yeah. That's tough though, man. Like, I mean, because again, like you said, like you have the knowledge, you know what I mean? And you know that you could get it done faster, but at the same time, you know that you have to teach your son to
Yeah.
figure it out. You know, you got to figure it out. You got to figure this out. And pops can always jump in to like save you. I think that I never ran into that with my dad. Like I said, mine was just like, I noticed myself like giving, giving my kids speeches. And I
Yeah.
remember as a kid, like just tuning my dad out. Like I was tuning him out, but the weird thing is that I can actually still remember like the lessons that he was teaching me in those long, long, long speeches that he would give. And I find myself like doing that to my kids. My youngest, my youngest daughter, Kennedy, one time she was probably like 6 or 7, and she had did something, and she came in the house, and I started giving her a speech, and she was like, "Pops, I'm sorry, but if I do what you tell me to do, can I just go back outside?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go do it now. Bye." And I was like, "This little heifer,
Just stop with the speech. Just tell me what to do. I'm out of
just
here.
tell me what to do."
I
It
love
was
that.
funny, man. But yeah, those are the things that like I remember from my dad, like that I try to like, nah, I don't really want to show up like that.
Yeah.
Are you intentionally passing anything down, or yeah, passing anything down from your father?
I think I'm passing down from my father is like he was always really big on family. And so that's something that I've passed down. Like family's number one. We always prioritize our family over everything else. And that's something he always did. So, that's one thing that I'd say I definitely have passed down to art, to my kids.
That's dope, man. That's really dope. I think for me, the one thing that I can know that I passed down to my kids is again, when I first moved in with my parents, like I can remember having like a couple of movie nights, and I just remember like how important that was to me. You know, it didn't last long. Like I said, it was maybe like 2 or 3 of them, but that was one of the things that I intentionally wanted to do with my kids. Like, we're gonna have family night. You know, we're gonna all hang out. We're gonna have popcorn. We're gonna watch movies. We're gonna do whatever, but we're gonna do those kind of things so that we can bond as a family. That was definitely one of the things that I intentionally passed down from my dad. So I love that. I love that. I saw on TikTok or somewhere that you guys have family night, right?
Yeah, man. We in the summers we definitely do like movie nights. So we made this space in our back patio where we got outside TV. We got a like patio out there set up, couches. So we do that several times a summer where we just get a movie night and everybody jumps in and we do that.
That's awesome, man. Does everybody participate, or do the teenagers say like, "Yeah, we ain't doing that"?
Yeah, mostly they do. I mean, they don't do it every time, but we get them a couple times a summer now. You know how teenagers are. They don't want to spend
They
a whole
do.
lot of time with us.
Only Taylor, my third child, she's the only one that really like, she's a daddy's girl, and she just wanted to spend time with her dad. Like she always wanted to just hang out with me. I'd be like, "Yo, go hang out with your friends, like go to the movies and stuff." She's like, "Nah, I'm hanging out with my pops." So
I
she's the
love
only one
that.
though. Out of the four, she's the only one. My son and I, we actually have a really good relationship as well, but he wanted to be with the boys playing basketball and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But Taylor, she was the one. All right, so tell me this, man. If your father could hear you right now, what's one thing that you would thank him for?
Man. Well, first I just tell him I love him, and I thank him for the strong. Wait. Did you say thank him for or thank him for?
Thank him for? What's one thing that
Just
you would thank him for?
I would okay, so I would thank my dad for sacrificing so much that he did when I was younger for the life that we had because he worked his tail off like every day. And so I know he did that for us, even though I might have missed him on occasions during the time. Looking back on it now, I could thank him. I would love to thank him for all the hard work that he did for our family.
That's awesome, man. I hope your dad's listening. I hope you're tuning in, man. I'll say for me, for adopting me, man. Like for real, like they didn't have to do that. I was an older kid, you know, getting adopted at like 11 or 12 years old. That's really unheard of. Like parents don't want older kids. So just for, I don't want to get all choked up, but man, just for like giving me life, giving me a second chance. Like I didn't think that anybody wanted me, or anybody, you know, I just had all these negative feelings about myself. And for him and my mom to adopt me, like, just means the world to me. So I would say thank you, Dad. I appreciate you so much because I learned so much from you about opening my home to kids and just being a good person and being a good father. And I really and truly, I'm blessed to have you as my dad. And I love you, man. I appreciate you very much.
That's dope. That's dope.
All right, man. Well, Brad, man, I appreciate you coming on here today, man. I love the Dope Dad Show up, the Dope Coach shirt. It looks good on you, man. So, man, at the end of the day, I just want to say that, there are things that we have learned from our parents that we love, things that we don't like. You as a man, you as a father, you have the opportunity to choose what you stick with and what you don't stick with. That is totally up to you. Just because your father taught you something doesn't mean that it has to stay with you for the rest of your life. So you have an opportunity to do whatever it is that you want to do in this thing called life. And, you can pass it on to your kids, you can pass it on to your spouse or whatever, but it's your choice. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, Brad, thank you so much, my man, for coming on the show. The people love you, man. They love you, Brad.
Whatever.
So thank you guys. And remember, you are dope. I gotta stop it.